Hi folks, how you doing? Russell True Results 303.com. Check out the website link in the description box, Mind, Body, Spirit, Fitness. Putting the healing back in health. Once again, you're at the website. Sign up for the free newsletter. Get your free downloads, setting goals, fitness, and nutrition. Don't forget to follow on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Google+. The podcast is out there. All those links are down below. Coming at you today on a video on what it means to truly be a materialist, right? Or materialistic. So I don't know if you like to watch documentaries or not, but I watched one yesterday. Last night I'm at a buddy's house. As you can tell, the surroundings are completely different. Actually got decent lighting for once. But it was called like The Minimalist or something like that. The Minimalist Lifestyle. They had a book that came out. I can't remember what it was called. But in general, they had some interesting thoughts in it, and I thought I would share it with you. So first of all, I think one of a great quote, I don't know if it's a Catholic quote or not, but it was kind of, it went like this. We live in this consumer society, right? Consumerism. And in reality, it's like make sure that you're consuming and not being consumed, right? Make sure you're not being consumed. Because there's totally, there's a difference. You're a consumer, or are you being consumed by what's happening around you and all the advertisements and stuff? And I think an interesting fact they put on there was like in the 90s, companies had spent like $100 million advertising to children. And in 2014, 15, whatever it was, around the time we're here now, they spent $14 billion advertising to children versus like 100 million. So I mean that jump is crazy. But I've also heard, I think it was Pope John Paul II say we're in a throwaway culture, right? They make clothes so that we wear them for a season and then we throw them away, right? Or a style. They try to create the styles to throw them away and then once again onto something new, right? And I've said this before that one of the greatest, the greatest gifts, and I'm trying to think about it, the greatest values is sentimental value. Like people laugh at me because I wear this ring on my thumb. This is my grandfather's ring that my grandmother bought him. I wear it on the thumb because it's the only finger that it fits on, and then people are like, why don't you just get it resized? It's like, well, in reality, I don't want to alter it any way. This is the way it was for my grandfather, so that's the way I want to keep it. This is the only finger it really fits on. That's why I wear it on my thumb. Or if you look at my bed now, I have a blanket that was knitted, I think that's what it is, out of yarn, which was made for me for my birthday by my buddy Skeeter, who lives in this house, his girlfriend, wife. And now I've got blankets on there that were that my great grandmother made, and she sewed it with all the different shirts of like bowling leagues my grandfather played in, their first job, things like that. So it's a blanket with all these different shirts cut up and created into a blanket. So I have the blanket that my uncle bought my father before he passed away 2 years ago. So this is the blankets I keep on my bed now. That sentimental value, the real value in life. And unfortunately, in today's world, I've mentioned this before in other videos, we've been brainwashed to think that we need to follow trends, we need to do this, we need to do that. I have a buddy who used to spend thousands of dollars on clothes like every month, like $1,000 on clothes every month. I told him, dude, all you need to do, and then he'd wear them to work within like 3 months. 2 months, he'd start wearing these to work, like $100 jeans he's wearing to work in 2 months. And at that time, we did landscaping, so we're outside getting dirty. The clothes are trash. I told him, dude, just put them in the closet. Come back to him in about 1.5 years. He's a skinny dude, doesn't put on any weight. I was all, they'll be back in style. You know what I mean? But one point that they brought up, and once again here in America, we're brainwashed and we are misled, right? I've said this before. What's worse? In China, where they only let you have one child, right? It's a straight law. You can only have one child. I think they just changed it now. You can have two because they realize they're hurting themselves. But you can only have one child. That's all you can have. Or here in America, where we are brainwashed to think that children are going to prevent you from being happy. They're going to prevent you from living the life you wanted to live. What do you think's worse? A law or brainwash, like mentally brainwashing us into thinking something? In my opinion, that brainwashing is completely worse than a law saying that we can't do this or that. All right. But what this guy, the interviewer had said, a little quote was, materialism. We've got it backwards. We've been brainwashed. It's like, how much stuff can I compile into my apartment, my house, to make me feel better? How much jewelry can I have to make me feel better? And this was, they said, a true materialist, if we think about it, right, is everything you own has a purpose, right? Everything you own has a purpose. It'd be like, I have this pillow, right? And this is the only pillow I need because it serves its purpose. Once it doesn't serve its purpose and we don't treat it with value, that's when it starts to rip and shred and things like that, right? Like I have a buddy who would just freaking scarf down food and spill it all over himself, right? Now that he's been conscious and eats healthier and things like that, he doesn't spill stuff all over his shirts. He doesn't go through shirts as much. At least I would think. But once again, it's having respect for the things that you own, right? And if you truly had respect for the things you own and they hold value, you're going to treat them better. You're going to use them the way they're supposed to be used, right? So we don't need more stuff. So true materialism is going to be having a purpose for everything that you own, not just buying it to buy it and then letting it sit over there and it does nothing. Right? So that's true materialism. We've got to come back to that true materialism, that everything has a purpose and we use it for that purpose. And the way they discussed it as well, and I've brought it up in other videos, is, right, once we're able to get the spending under control, we're able to, my ebook's probably going to be coming out here soon. I finally found someone to edit it. And, it's that same concept of having more things, or your environment, right? This is where I was going at, your environment, right? If you've had a bad day at work and a bad day here and a bad day there, and you come home and your house is just a mess and wrecked and cluttered everywhere, you're not coming home to that safe space. You're not coming home to beauty and peace. You're coming home to another chaotic situation. And when we're able to eliminate all this junk around us, you can come home to simplicity, to happiness. And even though you had a hard day, you can just sit down, there's no clutter, and you can just be relaxed. And I think that's what we've got to understand, that things don't make us happy. And that's pretty much the general concept of that video, of that documentary, the Minimalist. And you guys have probably already heard about it. Some of you have, some of you haven't. But once again, creating that minimal lifestyle is now going to create financial stability, right? Because you don't need all these things. You're not spending your money in all these insignificant ways. And now you're going to have financial freedom because I'm not buying all these clothes. I'm not buying all this. I'm not buying all that. The new iPhone, the new Samsung, the new this, the new that. You're complacent with what you have. And like I said, it's simplicity. I know I made a video called Simplicity, the Key to Happiness, Simplicity, the Key to Success, something along those lines. Check that one out. But once again, I think it was a very great concept of what a true materialist is. It's owning things for a purpose, not just so it can sit there, right? And I think that's going to create real value. When you come over, it's to someone's house, it's that there's not all these distractions. And I think another thing that guy said that was really a different interviewer in that video talked about is, like you put your phone on silent when you're in places, right? And sometimes I've heard a different thought for it, or a different description for it, where you think your phone rang or you think it vibrated, so you're like, oh, did it ring? Did it? Oh, no, it didn't. No, it didn't, right? And in that little instant, you were just disconnected from what was going on around you. You have lost connection to the beauty of the world, to the beauty of the conversation, to the beauty of your family, to the beauty of people around you. And what valuable thing you could have been learning, or connection you could have been making, all because you thought something rang, right? It's like anything else, right? If your heart has its consistent beat and it beats the way it's supposed to, right? And then all of a sudden it skips and does whatever. That's an arrhythmia or something like that, right? That's a bad thing. So you had this powerful connection with the environment and the world around you, and then all of a sudden, beep, back up. Did it do something? What happened? Did it ring? And it disconnects you. You no longer have that strong connection with the world around you. So once again, I hope this helps. Just something to think about. What a true materialist looks like. You know, something else. Once again, real quick. I made another video on what is man, and that's what we've got to understand as well. Using things for the purpose they're supposed to be used for, right? And in that video, quick little synopsis of it is, you know, it's you must understand man before you can change man. If you don't know what man is, changing it could totally destroy man. And I think right now we can see the path that we're on. Man is slowly falling apart and being destroyed. So we've got to understand that. You've got to know the purpose of something, why something is here, how something works, before you can actually change it for the better. Or the other one was traditional man says, what is this for? Right? The new man of today says, how can I use it? Right? You know, you must know what it is before what it is and what its purpose is before you can use it correctly. If you just say, how can I use it? Yes, I understand the abstractness of the world and, oh, that's creative. I didn't know you could use it that way. But once again, you must first know what it is really used, what its true purpose is, before you can truly start to make it the MacGyver of things. For those of you who don't know MacGyver, I apologize. I guess now there's a new show called MacGyver, but the old one's much better. But once again, you must know it, what its purpose is, what it truly is meant to be, before you can say, how can I use it? Because if you're just trying to think of how many different ways I can twist and turn it, you're going to lose its true purpose. So anyways, once again, I hope that helps. Don't forget to follow on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, the podcast. All those things are in the description box, those links. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Share and like these videos.